Millionaire mom calls teacher incompetent, but what she discovered left her speechless. Samantha paced around her sprawling kitchen, the granite countertops gleaming under the overhead lights. Every inch of her luxurious home screamed success, from the imported Italian tiles to the designer furniture. But despite all her meticulously curated surroundings, she was anything but calm. The latest report card had arrived, showcasing her son Jacob's dismal grades. A knot twisted painfully in her stomach. In her mind, it was simple. Failing grades meant a failing teacher. Her cell phone buzzed relentlessly on the counter, notifications piling up from the parents' group chat. But she ignored them, focusing solely on the name of Jacob's art teacher, Mr. Carter, whose incompetence, in her opinion, was glaringly obvious. "How dare he let my son down?" she muttered, her voice laced with disdain. Determined to tackle this foolishness head-on, Samantha decided to attend the upcoming parent-teacher meeting at Westfield Elite Academy, a prestigious institution known for its rigorous standards. She arrived, dressed to impress, donning a chic blazer and perfectly tailored trousers, ready to confront Mr. Carter. The auditorium buzzed with whispers as other parents shot her incredulous looks, having heard about her bold claims. As she entered the meeting, her eyes scanned the room, finally landing on Mr. Carter. He stood at the front, his demeanor calm but distant, his hands fidgeting with a stack of papers. There was something intriguing about him. His tousled hair and old frayed sweater stood in stark contrast to the impeccably dressed faculty and parents around him. Then the unexpected happened. During the meeting, Mr. Carter spoke not only of the curriculum, but shared a brief story of his troubled childhood. He spoke about how art had once been his refuge, how he had lost his mother and turned to drawing to cope with the pain. Samantha leaned in, captivated. What once seemed like mere incompetence began to show depth. As the meeting wore on, snippets of Mr. Carter's past began to unravel. His experiences shaped him, yet he had chosen to teach instead of pursuing his own artistic dreams. There was raw emotion in his voice as he described his passion for nurturing young talent. It sparked something inside Samantha. Suddenly, she realized the grades weren't just numbers. They were layers of Jacob's experience within Mr. Carter's world. Conflicted, she felt her defenses weakening. Was it possible that instead of us versus them, it could be a shared journey instead? But as she watched Mr. Carter interact with the students, an idea gnawed at her. Maybe, just maybe, she wasn't just there to defend her son. The real question was, who was she becoming in this moment? The tension in the room swelled. She could feel the weight of her preconceived notions crashing down. What if Mr. Carter's past held the key to unlocking Jacob's true potential? With the air thickening around them, she couldn't help but wonder, what more was she willing to unearth? Ei, antes de continuarmos com essa história incrível, preciso te fazer um alerta importante. Muitos inscritos têm relatado que o YouTube removeu suas inscrições sem aviso. Dá só uma conferida rápida no botão vermelho aí embaixo para garantir que você ainda está inscrito no canal. Não quero que você perca nenhum conteúdo exclusivo que vem por aí. E já que você está aí, deixa aquele like poderoso que me ajuda muito com o algoritmo. Ah, e me conta nos comentários, de qual cidade você está assistindo? Adoro conhecer cada pessoa incrível que faz parte dessa comunidade. Sua participação faz toda a diferença. Vamos interagir. Samantha felt her heart racing as she sat there, the weight of her judgments beginning to lift just a little. Mr. Carter was sharing a part of himself she had never expected. But before she could process this change, a loud crash shattered the moment. An eruption of chaos from the back of the auditorium. Everyone turned their heads in shock. A group of students burst through the doors, looking panicked. Their eyes were wide with fear, and their breathing came quick and sharp. One of them, a girl named Lily, shouted, "There's a fire in the art room. We need to get out." Instantly, the atmosphere shifted. Confusion and anxiety rippled through the crowd. Parents began to murmur, anxiety rising with each passing second. Samantha's heart dropped as she glanced at Mr. Carter. He stiffened, his face a mixture of concern and disbelief. Without thinking, she sprang to her feet. "Where is Jacob?" she blurted, the worry twisting inside her like a knot. She scanned the chaos, but couldn't spot her son. The panic deepened in her chest. "Stay calm," Mr. Carter called out, trying to restore order. "Everyone, please exit the building. We'll ensure everyone is accounted for." Just then, a woman shrieked, "They're trapped! Some kids are still inside!" The crowd gasped collectively, the fear palpable. Samantha felt a cold sweat form on her back. This couldn't be happening. Not now. Mr. Carter's face blanched. He was no longer the calm educator she had seen of. Moments ago, he was now a man on a mission. "I'll go check," he called out, taking quick strides toward the door where the chaos erupted. With every second that passed, Samantha's stomach churned. All the bravado she had summoned to confront Mr. Carter started to fade away. Suddenly, he wasn't just the teacher she had blamed for Jacob's grades. He was a man risking his life for his students. The reality sank in. She had focused so much on her own anger that she had neglected to see the commitment and sacrifice he offered. Daily, more students rushed past them, some crying, others shouting names of their friends. "Help! Jacob! Jacob!" Samantha shouted, her voice trembling. Each time she called, it felt like her heart might shatter. And then, the impossible happened. A girl stumbled into the auditorium, disheveled and coughing. "Mr. Carter," she gasped. "Jacob's hurt. He didn't make it out." Samantha felt the air leave her lungs. "What do you mean he didn't make it out?" Her voice shook, disbelief mingling with horror. I think he's in the art room. He was trying to help Lily." Samantha's world spun. Adrenaline kicked in. She felt lightheaded and heavy at the same time. "Somebody do something!" she pleaded, but her voice fell flat against the panic surrounding her. Silence enveloped them as realization dawned. Mr. Carter, now raging against the tide of parents and students, caught her gaze. "Stay here. We'll get him," he promised, determination in his voice. But Samantha couldn't just stay. As chaos continued to unfold around her, a gnawing realization crept in. This was no longer just about Jacob's grades or Mr. Carter's history. Lives were at stake. With every second ticking away, she felt a new resolve form inside her. It wasn't just about being a millionaire mom. It was about being a mom, period. As she made her way toward the door, tearing past the throng, she thought, what if everything she believed about Mr. Carter and about herself was about to shift forever? Could she face the truth that lay somewhere within this tragedy, hidden amidst the flames? Would she be able to reconcile her previous anger with her new impulses? Or was it too late? The room fell silent, and the looming dread made her pulse pound in her ears. The uncertainty hung in the air like smoke, ready to engulf them all. Samantha's heart raced as she pushed through the swarming crowd, panic gripping her throat. "Jacob!" she cried out, her voice barely cutting through the storm of chaos surrounding her. Parents huddled together, fear etched on their faces. Students rushed past her, still screaming, desperate to escape whatever horror lay behind them. Mr. Carter turned to face her, urgency in his eyes. "Stay here. I promise I'll find him," he shouted over the cacophony. But she couldn't just wait. Every second felt like an eternity, and the weight of her worries fed a wildfire of dread deep in her stomach. Without a second thought, she raced toward the door, adrenaline fueling her. "I'm going with you," she exclaimed, pushing past a cluster of terrified parents. She spotted Mr. Carter trying to catch his breath, hesitation flickering over his face. "Fine," he relented, "but stay close." They dashed through the doorway, the acrid scent of smoke clawing at their lungs. The hallway was coated in a haze of gray, lights flickering ominously above. They could hear shouts and coughs from the art room, the source of the panic. "Where's Jacob?" she urged, her voice pitched high. "He must be in there." "Stay behind me." Mr. Carter's tone turned stern, protective. Just then, a shadow darted from the side, an older student bursting from a classroom. "Help!" he gasped, eyes wide. "Lily's trapped! She's still—" "Where?" Samantha interrupted, gripping his arm. "In the art room," he replied, panting. "She was helping Jacob with a project." Fear clawed at Samantha's throat tighter than ever. She could feel the heat radiating from the door to the art room, where a dull roar of flames crept closer. "We've got to go!" she screamed, and they pushed through the smoke, driving forward with sheer will. Inside, the fire raged, the colors of the art supplies bleeding together in a nightmarish whirl. "Jacob!" she yelled, the sound swallowed by the fire's crackle. Then she caught a glimpse of a figure leaning against the far wall. Jacob! Her heart surged with hope, but as she hurried closer, the sight brought a horrid realization. He wasn't alone. Lily lay sprawled beside him, unconscious. "Help us!" she cried. Mr. Carter lunged ahead, stepping over debris, reaching out for Jacob. "Get them out! Get them out!" But as he grabbed Jacob's arm, Samantha noticed something in the corner of her eye. A lighter? Just lying there on the floor, lit on purpose? Her stomach dropped as the pieces started to snap into place. The art supplies, the chaos, the smoke, it all felt too staged. "Wait!" she shouted, panic spilling over into desperation. "What happened here?" Mr. Carter hesitated, glancing between the children and the inferno. "I don't know. We need to get them." "No," she cried, her mind racing. This wasn't an accident, was it? He paused, looking trapped. A sharp silence filled the room, echoing just before an explosion of flame roared, nearly catching them. The truth loomed between them, dark and looming. Then, just then, she remembered a conversation she overheard at the last parents' meeting. Whispers about Mr. Carter's past, cases of arson, an artist gone awry. Could it be? The truth felt like a chilling gust of wind slamming into her. Was this all just a cover? Have you been playing with fire?" His eyes widened, shock and fear flickering like the flames around them. He looked at her, his expression shifting, wrestling with something buried deep inside him. "They need us," he said, shaking. "I just want to help them." But a new dread seeped in. If he had orchestrated this, how could she trust him? The boy she thought was a failure might just be caught up in something darker than grades. "Jacob!" she screamed again, as fire licked closer, casting wild shadows. "You can't let him burn." Suddenly the ceiling creaked ominously, an unbearable weight threatening to collapse. Would they make it out alive? And what truth lay hidden in that blaze? In the haze of smoke, every realization felt sharper. As Samantha stared into Mr. Carter's eyes, she questioned everything she thought she knew about him, and about her son. Would she save Jacob, only to discover horrors beneath the surface? The clock was ticking, and the flames were rising. What would she unravel before it was too late? Samantha's heart pounded as she stood amidst the chaos, smoke filling her lungs and tears stinging her eyes. "Jacob!" she cried again, desperation clawing at her throat, almost choking her. The flames roared like a beast unleashed, a flickering reminder of what could be lost. She couldn't let this be the end. "Move!" Mr. Carter urged, pushing debris aside, but she was rooted in place, fear anchoring her to the ground. "We need to get them out." His voice was strained, brimming with urgency. In that moment, he was no longer just an infuriating teacher. He was a man battling a tempest to save her son. Then she saw him, Jacob's small frame huddled against the wall, smoke curling around him like a serpent. "Jacob!" she screamed with every ounce of strength she could muster. Just as Mr. Carter lunged to reach him, the ceiling above them creaked ominously, shuddering like it might collapse. But then a deafening crash echoed through the room. A portion of the ceiling gave way, sending debris crashing down where they stood. "Get back!" Mr. Carter shouted, shielding Samantha with his body. The scene felt surreal. In a heartbeat, everything shifted. A pungent smell of burning wood filled the air, mixed with the sickening scent of something more, something sweeter and more recognizable. Before she could process it, a realization shattered her. This wasn't an accident. "Get out!" Mr. Carter shouted again, dragging Jacob toward the exit. But the words came too late. Samantha watched in horror as flames surged closer, licking their way toward them like hungry wolves. In that flickering light, she saw something glinting on the floor near Jacob. A body. No, a backpack. The name tag was visible, and her heart sank. Further. "Lily!" She was still trapped. "Mr. Carter, we can't leave her." "I'll get her," he promised, but then he hesitated. Confusion crossed his face, and for a split second, he looked away, his expression weighed down by a secret. "But you need to hold on to Jacob, okay?" Samantha felt adrenaline surge. "No, what's going on? You know something!" The room shook again, thick smoke swirling around them. As they inched toward the door, she felt the weight of his hesitation. Would he truly risk everything to save Lily? Or was he hiding something sinister? Just then, there was a hum of electricity. The lights flickered violently, and with a loud bang, a section of the wall exploded outward, revealing a hidden passage that had remained concealed until now. The smoke shifted, swirling in a bizarre dance, and there, revealed in veils of dark, was a shocking sight. Stacks of canvas, paint, and art supplies lined the walls of this secret space. But the chilling realization settled cold in her bones. These weren't just supplies for an art class. This is your stash?" she gasped, her mind racing. "You were hiding it? Why?" "I was trying to help them," he cried, his eyes wide, filled with a mix of fear and something darker. "Help them?" she shouted, feeling the walls closing in. "You put them in danger!" "No, Samantha." He fought to keep her from taking another step back. "They needed inspiration, a spark. I thought." "You thought what?" she shot back, rage mixing with terror. "That putting them in danger would make them better artists?" But then a voice cut through the suffocating smoke. "Mr. Carter, help!" It was Lily, panicked and holding on to the edge of consciousness. "Lily!" Samantha screamed. "Jacob, hold on to me!" She felt the air turn heavy with dread, an impending doom pressing around them. "Wait!" Mr. Carter called, suddenly looking desperate. Panic surged through Samantha as she grasped Jacob's arm, struggling to make sense of the chaos. Before she could react, Mr. Carter lunged again, this time not toward Lily, but into the flames. The moment stretched into infinity, the reality of his risks sinking in like lead. "Mr. Carter!" Samantha yelled, sheer panic coating her voice. "What are you doing? Come back!" But something in Mr. Carter's eyes changed, hardened. "If I go back, you'll never understand," he shouted. And in an instant, he dove toward the flames with an intensity that left her breathless. He vanished behind a wall of fire, leaving Samantha frozen in shock. "Is he crazy?" she whispered, trembling. But deep down, a seed of doubt sprouted. What was it he wanted her to understand? And what was it about his past, his art? The flames roared, casting shadows that danced maddeningly around the room. Everything she thought she knew was unraveling, and the cracks in her reality widened. In that moment, she felt it. The swirling grief, anger, betrayal, and an undeniable flicker of hope. Would she ever see Jacob again? Would Mr. Carter return, or had he crossed a line she couldn't comprehend? As panic seeped into her bones, one question tore through the haze. Was Mr. Carter truly the villain she believed him to be? Or was there more to his story than she could ever have imagined? And with that thought, the walls began to close in around them, the smoke thickening as shadows whispered of a truth she was yet to uncover. Samantha's heart raced as she stood amidst the chaos, smoke filling her lungs and tears stinging her eyes. "Jacob!" she cried again, desperation clawing at her throat, almost choking her. The flames roared like a beast unleashed, a flickering reminder of what could be lost. She couldn't let this be the end. "Move!" Mr. Carter urged, pushing debris aside, but she was rooted in place, fear anchoring her to the ground. "We need to get them out." His voice was strained, brimming with urgency. In that moment, he was no longer just an infuriating teacher. He was a man battling a tempest to save her son. Then she saw him, Jacob's small frame huddled against the wall, smoke curling around him like a serpent. "Jacob!" she screamed, with every ounce of strength she could muster. Just as Mr. Carter lunged to reach him, the ceiling above them creaked ominously, shuddering as if it might collapse. But then a deafening crash echoed through the room. A portion of the ceiling gave way, sending debris crashing down where they stood. "Get back!" Mr. Carter shouted, shielding Samantha with his body. The scene felt surreal. In a heartbeat, everything shifted. A pungent smell of burning wood filled the air, mixed with the sickening scent of something more, something sweeter and more recognizable. Before she could process it, a realization shattered her. This wasn't an accident. "Get out!" Mr. Carter urged again, dragging Jacob toward the exit. But the words came too late. Samantha watched in horror as flames surged closer, licking their way toward them like hungry wolves. In that flickering light, she saw something glinting on the floor near Jacob. A body? No, a backpack. The name tag was visible, and her heart sank further. "Lily!" She was still trapped. "Mr. Carter, we can't leave her." "I'll get her," he promised. But then he hesitated. Confusion crossed his face, and for a split second he looked away, his expression weighed down by a secret. "But you need to hold on to Jacob, okay?" Samantha felt adrenaline surge. "No, what's going on? You know something." The room shook again, thick smoke swirling around them. As they inched toward the door, she felt the weight of his hesitation. Would he truly risk everything to save Lily? Or was he hiding something sinister? Just then, there was a hum of electricity. The lights flickered violently, and with a loud bang, a section of the wall exploded outward, revealing a hidden passage that had remained concealed until now. The smoke shifted, swirling in a bizarre dance, and there, revealed in veils of dark, was a shocking sight. Stacks of canvas, paint, and art supplies lined the walls of this secret space. But the chilling realization settled cold in. Her bones. These weren't just supplies for an art class. This is your stash? She gasped, her mind racing. You were hiding it? Why? I was trying to help them, he cried, his eyes wide, filled with a mix of fear and something darker. Help them? She shouted, feeling the walls closing in. You put them in danger. No, Samantha, he fought to keep her from taking another step back. They needed inspiration, a spark. You thought what? That putting them in danger would make them better artists? But then a voice cut through the suffocating smoke. Mr. Carter, help! It was Lily, panicked and holding on to the edge of consciousness. Lily, Samantha screamed. Jacob, hold on to me! She felt the air turn heavy with dread, an impending doom pressing around them. Wait, Mr. Carter called, suddenly looking desperate. Panic surged through Samantha as she grasped Jacob's arm, struggling to make sense of the chaos. Before she could react, Mr. Carter lunged again, this time not toward Lily, but into the flames. The moment stretched into infinity, the reality of his risks sinking in like lead. Mr. Carter, Samantha yelled, sheer panic coating her voice. What are you doing? Come back! But something in Mr. Carter's eyes changed, hardened. If I go back, you'll never understand, he shouted. And in an instant, he dove toward the flames with an intensity that left her breathless. He vanished behind a wall of fire, leaving Samantha frozen in shock. Is he crazy? She whispered, trembling. But deep down, a seed of doubt sprouted. What was it he wanted her to understand? And what was it about his past, his art? The flames roared, casting shadows that danced maddeningly around the room. Everything she thought she knew was unraveling, and the cracks in her reality widened. Then, without warning, an explosion shook the room again, a deafening roar that sent debris flying. Samantha stumbled, then heard a chilling sound. Laughter? Twisted, maniacal laughter that echoed in the flames. Her heart dropped as she squinted through the smoke and seen a figure approaching, silhouette illuminated by the fire. A familiar face. Surprise, Samantha! It was Amanda, the head of the school board. Did you really think you could just come here and take everything from me? Confusion and betrayal spun through Samantha's mind. Amanda, what are you doing here? As Amanda stepped closer, the destruction around them became a staged performance. You see, Mr. Carter is just a pawn in my game. I needed you distracted, and he was perfect for that. What do you mean? Samantha's voice trembled, reality shattering around her. I set this whole thing up. The fire, the drama, everything. Amanda's smile twisted, revealing a deeper madness. Jacob was only ever meant to draw you here, into my web. And now, I have you exactly where I want. Samantha's stomach dropped. Was this some sort of sick play? Each word Amanda spoke felt like a dagger, and the truth cut deeper than any flame. "Jacob! We have to get out!" Panic surged through her, but before she could move, Amanda flicked a lighter, igniting another wave of flames. "Let's see who really survives," she laughed, madness dancing in her eyes. Samantha gasped as the walls closed in, realizing they were all trapped. Would she save Jacob, face Amanda's psychotic game, and uncover the secrets hiding? In this fire, the reality of her situation hung thick in the air as the flames roared around them, and she knew, in that moment, nothing would ever be the same again. Samantha's breath came in sharp gasps, her heart racing as the flames danced menacingly around them. "Jacob!" she shouted, her voice raw with panic, echoing in the smoky chaos. The heat felt like a beast, clawing at her skin. "Lily!" she cried, desperation flooding her chest. Everything around her started to blur. The fire, the madness, and Amanda's twisted grin smirked back at her through the haze. "Did you really think you could take me down, Samantha?" Amanda taunted, stepping closer, the flames casting an eerie glow on her face. "This was always about control. It's time for you to see how powerless you truly are." Samantha felt her knees weaken. A sickening realization washed over her like ice water. Amanda, the very woman who had welcomed her into the school community, was the puppeteer behind this horrific act. In that moment, the floor beneath her felt like it was melting away. You set this all up?" "Course," Amanda replied, her voice calm and menacing. "All part of a grand performance. You've been so busy calling Mr. Carter incompetent that you didn't see the real threat standing right in front of you." "Shut up!" Samantha screamed, rage boiling inside her. "You're insane!" But Amanda only laughed, the sound cruel and chilling. "Insanity is subjective, darling. What's more dangerous? A teacher who cares too much, or one who's willing to burn down their own work to make a point?" Suddenly, the room shook again, and in the chaos, a ceiling beam snapped, crashing down close to Samantha. She barely dodged it, adrenaline surging as she turned to Mr. Carter. "We have to get Jacob and Lily out now." "Stay back!" Amanda shouted, pushing a button on her device. Immediately, the flames roared to life, intensifying around them like a hellish storm. But just then, everything changed. A loud crash interrupted the chaos. The exterior wall burst open, and a figure rushed in. A local firefighter. "Get out!" he shouted, his voice booming, cutting through the panic. "Thank God!" Samantha exclaimed, hope flickering for the first time. But then she noticed the firefighter's eyes widen in horror as the flames danced closer, threatening to engulf him. "We can't leave without Jacob and Lily." "Where are they?" he barked, scanning the room, desperation etched across his face. "She's in the corner," Samantha pointed frantically. But before she could finish, Amanda lunged toward the firefighter, a wicked gleam in her eye. "No, you can't take them!" Samantha yelled, lunging forward. But Amanda was faster, the fire around her reflecting a madness Samantha had never seen before. In a shocking twist, Amanda pulled a hidden weapon from her belt, a small device that exploded in a blinding flash, sending shockwaves through the room. The blast knocked Samantha off her feet. She landed hard, pain shooting through her body, but she managed to turn her head just in time. Through the smoke and confusion, something incredible happened. The fiery walls started to expand, not outward, but inward, as if the building itself had decided to collapse around them. "What the hell?" the firefighter yelled. Scrambling to stay upright, "Just get the kids," Samantha screamed, her heart racing as panic surged against her ribs. And then the truth unraveled. As the flames began to consume the room, Amanda's laughter echoed. "You think you can just walk away from this? You're in this now, Samantha. You made this personal." Samantha's mind spun. Was Amanda playing a game of her own, dragging her into a trap? It felt like chains binding her. She shot a desperate look at Mr. Carter, who was now battling not just flames, but a new layer of revelation. "Mr. Carter," Samantha yelled, cutting through the chaos. "What does she mean?" He hesitated, the fear in his eyes now mixed with guilt. I didn't want you to find out like this." Just then, another explosion echoed, throwing debris in all directions. The reality of the situation slammed down on her harder than any falling beam. It wasn't just Amanda pulling the strings. And in the thick of that despair, sparks of truth ignited in Samantha's mind. What if Mr. Carter had known all along what Amanda was capable of, and chose to play the innocent role? What if everything she believed about him, about Jacob's so-called incompetence, was a web of lies? "Get them out now," she roared, the force of her command booming like the fire's wrath around them. The urgency was at a breaking point, and just like that, as flames continued to roar and chaos swirled around them, a horrifying reality dawned on her. This wasn't merely a school fire. It was a culmination of manipulation, betrayal, and sacrifices that had been hidden in plain sight. Why was all she could manage to ask before the world felt like it was shattering, spinning wildly as she fought to keep her focus. Everything that had come before, all the arguments and accusations, suddenly felt irrelevant. Would they all survive this nightmare? Or was it too late to untangle the truth? Would Samantha's frantic drive for survival unearth the ultimate betrayal? As the ceiling trembled above, she braced herself for whatever revelation awaited them when the smoke finally cleared. Samantha's heart raced as the flames roared around her, choking the air with thick smoke. "Jacob!" she shouted, her voice hoarse and raw, desperation clawing at her throat. The heat wrapped around her like a predator ready to strike. The chaos was a cacophony of fear, and Amanda's twisted grin cut through it all like a knife. "Did you really think you could challenge me, Samantha?" Amanda taunted, her voice smooth but laced with madness. "This has all been for a greater purpose. Welcome to my masterpiece." Samantha felt a wave of nausea crash over her. You planned this?" "Of course," Amanda sneered, reveling in her manipulation. "Mr. Carter was simply a distraction. I needed to lure you in, to show you who's really in control." Each word felt like fire to Samantha's gut. The realization that Amanda had orchestrated this devastation shook her to her core. "You're insane," she exclaimed, shaken, yet her focus shifted back to Jacob. "Get them out!" the firefighter shouted, urgency in his tone as he scanned the inferno. "Where's Jacob?" he demanded, determination mixing with panic. Samantha pointed to the corner. "He's over there with Lily." But as Amanda flicked a lighter, igniting another wave of flames, fear bubbled over. "You won't take them," Amanda laughed, her madness fully unveiled. "Just get them out." "To safety!" Samantha yelled, adrenaline coursing through her as the heat intensified, stinging her skin. In that moment, she felt a new surge of resolve. She wouldn't let Amanda win. "Jacob, you have to hold on," she called, ignoring the overload of chaos surrounding her. Just then, the firefighter charged toward Jacob and Lily, but a section of the ceiling collapsed, sending a shower of embers their way. "Move!" he shouted, urgency spilling from his lips. "Now!" Samantha cried as she saw Jacob stir. Hope ignited in her chest. She felt the strength in her limbs return as if he were her lifeline. "Mom, I'm scared." Jacob's voice broke through the smoke, grabbing onto her heart. "I'm here, baby. I'll get you out. Together," she yelled, determination igniting a fiery courage she never knew she had. Mr. Carter burst through the suffocating haze, his eyes fierce, an unexpected ally amidst the chaos. "I'll get Lily," he announced, determination etched into his features. "Don't," she warned, but it was too late. He was already racing toward her friend. "Carter, no!" The flames roared, a monstrous presence, determined to claim what was left. Just as Amanda moved to obstruct them, Samantha charged, a surge of fierce protection blazing within her. The room shook as the walls threatened to close in, but Samantha wouldn't be controlled. "You think you can do this and walk away?" With a final act of defiance, she launched herself toward Amanda, sending them both reeling. The chaos erupted around them, a fierce reminder of the danger they were in. But the firefighter didn't hesitate. He dashed past the chaotic brawl and snatched Jacob and Lily into his arms, tearing them away from danger. "Get out!" he yelled over the cacophony. Samantha wrestled with Amanda, grappling to secure her son's safety. In that fight, her rage ignited. "You've done enough!" she screamed, adrenaline sharpening her every move. And then it hit. The walls began to tremble under the weight of the raging fire. "The structure, it's coming down!" the firefighter shouted, urgency ringing loud. Finally, with a visceral scream, Samantha pushed Amanda away, stumbling backward. As the ceiling creaked ominously, they locked eyes for a final moment. The look of madness lost in the heat of the moment. "Get out now!" the firefighter bellowed as they made the break for the exit. Racing through the darkened corridor, Samantha pulled Jacob close, her heart pounding in rhythm with the chaos. They burst through the doorway just as the building crumbled behind them, a fierce roar of destruction. Outside, the cool air hit them like a wave of relief. They stumbled onto the grass, gasping for fresh air. Firefighters buzzed around, frantic, but they were safe. Samantha clutched Jacob tightly, tears coursing down her cheeks. "You're okay," she whispered, brushing the soot from his face. But her heart sank as she turned back to the smoldering wreckage. Would Amanda ever be brought to justice? "Is it over?" Jacob asked, trembling against her. "Not just yet," she replied, her resolve hardening. The fight was far from over. As the sun set behind them, casting shadows over the ruins, Samantha took a deep breath. She wouldn't let Amanda or anyone take away her power. The world ahead loomed with uncertainty, and while she hadn't seen the last of the darkness, hope flickered in her heart. Change was coming. And with that feeling, the future stretched ahead, a mixture of challenges and new beginnings. You need to subscribe right now to avoid missing out on what's coming next. Don't wait a single second to hit that like button. Show your support for the channel. Flood the comments with your thoughts, reactions, and theories about this explosive ending. And make sure to share this video instantly with 5 friends who need to experience this wild conclusion. Only the true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel with these actions. Let's make it happen.